What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Marz Pod. I am joined, as always, by Brandon Eckel, and we have a lot to get to. Last time we talked was quite a while ago, and a lot of Packers news has been going down since then. We talked before the draft, and then the day of the draft, the Aaron Rodgers absolute bombshell. I was just sitting here like in class, on a Zoom call, and I checked my phone, and it says Aaron Rodgers is unhappy, doesn't want to play for the Packers anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm freaking out. And it's just been like since then, just a ton of rumors, a ton of circulation about is Rodgers going to be in Green Bay? How happy is Aaron Rodgers? What does he want? What is he going to need in order to stay in Green Bay? All this stuff. I want to ask you, because again, we haven't talked about this. Like, this is the first we've talked since all this stuff has come out, all these rumors. How are you feeling about the Aaron Rodgers situation, and how confident are you in Aaron Rodgers being a Green Bay Packer week 1 in 2021?
Well, I'd say as far as being a Packer, I'm more on the confident side than non-confident because I think the organization obviously wants to keep him. However, I'm questioning how much of the truth it is that, like I think they said, oh, if he's still a Packer, he's not going to play. I think a lot of it's been blown out of proportion and some of the story hasn't been fully told or, the truth isn't really there. I think there's some other stuff going on, but I don't know. It's been pretty wild. It just, it's one thing to be upset. It's another that they're like, oh, he totally wants out. He's getting traded, this and that. Like, it's been weird.
Now, whose side more? If you had not, you don't have to pick sides. Like, you don't really have to. But if you were to pick sides, and like, whose side more are you on? I think you know kind of whose side I'm on, but I want to hear what your thoughts are.
I think you're on Rodgers' side.
Yeah, like I'm not completely like anti-organization, but I'm definitely on the side of Rodgers. I've been saying I would have been upset a long time ago if I were him, and I think the Love thing kind of just put over the top, and the fact that they still won't commit to him after an MVP season. Like, and again, yes, they put weapons around him. He's always had good offenses, but they've consistently had bad defenses, consistently had bad coaching up until LaFleur, but they stuck with McCarthy way too long. They just seem like I don't want to say failed him, because again, they've put decent teams around him. They've put, like, especially on offense, they've done enough to like give him weapons, and he's made guys great and stuff. But I just understand his frustration, and like I'm not going to judge him for being upset about stuff, and that's just where I am.
Yeah. See, I'm almost a little. The organization has done some just haven't made good, kind of like you said, just good decisions. Like the whole Jordan Love thing. You know what? If they want to go out and draft a quarterback, they have the right to do that. But like, even though you figure you have probably a solid, hopefully 4 or 5 years from Rodgers, maybe even more. But you look at like the Tom Brady. I think it was with Tom Brady, the Buccaneers drafting. Who did they draft again? What QB?
Oh, Trask.
Trask from Florida. Yeah, and I think they were talking about how like they had talked to Tom Brady beforehand and stuff like that. And it's a little different. Brady's like, well, he continues to win Super Bowls, but he's like 42, 41, whatever. So there's a little age difference there. However, the organization hasn't approached things the right way. And I think the biggest thing has been defensively not going out and getting more guys because, people can say like, oh, we didn't get a wide receiver first round. But Rodgers has made so many receivers better because of how good he is already. And on top of that, he's had a really solid running back in Jones, one of the best receivers in Adams.
Great O-line too.
Yep, great O-line. Tunyon was really good. Lazard really stepped up other than, he had his, span where he was hurt this year. So it's like, I don't fully agree with the whole thing. Like, that's the other thing I heard somebody say, like, how many times are you going to get somebody like end of the first round and that wide receiver is going to win you a Super Bowl? Like, yeah, Justin Jefferson was great this year for the Vikings, but he wouldn't have won him a Super Bowl because the wide receiver position like that, like, isn't going to do that. But it's just they haven't gone out and surrounded him on defense to really help him out on that side of the ball. So that's the frustrating part. So I really am kind of in the middle. I blame him for some stuff, but I also think there's some things where Rodgers has to understand, not everything's going to be the way he wants, even if it is supposed to be to keep him happy, make him happy, whatever.
Yeah, and there for sure definitely seems to be like I'm on the side of Rodgers, but at the same time, he could handle it better. He could be, more understanding and like try to. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. If they have offered him an extension, he's just being petty and like declining it. That's on him. But at the same time, if he went to them after the season and said, "Hey, look, I just won MVP, commit to me now long term," and they were like, that's on them. Like I can't fault him for being mad at that because he basically went out and said, I'm going to prove that this Jordan Love pick was a mistake. Like, I understand it because I was kind of declining. I'm going to go out and prove it was a mistake. I did. Now trade him, get rid of him, commit to me. And if they aren't willing to do that, I'd be upset too.
Yes.
Now, as far as the draft, let's talk about the Packers draft really quick before we get into our schedule predictions, very early schedule predictions. And we're going to assume for our schedule predictions that Rodgers is playing for the Packers. But as far as the Packers draft, just give me your quick thoughts on it. They took Eric Stokes in the first round, corner out of Georgia, Josh Myers, a center out of Ohio State in the second round, and then Amari Rodgers out of Clemson, the receiver, in the third round. Like, give me a grade or just your overall thoughts on the draft. I personally thought it was like really good. I don't love the players because I don't know the players that well. I'm not a huge college football guy. But as far like I go into these drafts saying like I just want them to take the positions I like and the positions I think they need, and I'll trust that they know the players and they'll be able to get those right. So I'm very happy with it. They went corner, O-line, receiver first 3 rounds, like fantastic to me. So I'm giving it like a solid B plus and just in terms of the whole draft, I'm giving it a B plus. But what are you thinking?
Yeah, I was thinking I was going to say B or B plus. I think I know they've said before. I think it was Ted Thompson, or somebody within the Packers is like, we take like the best available guy.
Yeah,
it's like sometimes like they go out and get Stokes, and people are like, oh, like you could have gotten a better guy or more potential. But I think they go for guys who they think show really good flashes at certain things. Like I think he's got pretty good size. He's really fast. So maybe they think he can kind of be like an Alexander. And I think you agree with me on this. I cannot stand King personally. I just think he's terrible.
After that NFC Championship, it's just no.
And even and before that too, especially if you're a Packer fan, if you watched,
so inconsistent, dude.
And he doesn't. He might make a good play here and there, and the next thing you know, he'll burn, or he's out with some stupid injury for 3 weeks. Like I was really irritated. We signed him, but I'm glad we went out. Hopefully, this talent pays off with a first-round pick. And I really like the wide receiver we took, and then I think you said O-line. We also got second round, right?
Yeah.
So
a center to replace Lindsley.
Yeah, I mean what else can you ask for? Those are really the 3 positions mainly of need, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Maybe a linebacker. I'm not sure if they. I can't remember if they took a linebacker or not, but
they took a linebacker in the 6th round.
Okay, and I mean, there's so many guys out there that you can kind of like pick up off free agency, or guy might get released like before the year to save a team money or something. Like linebackers kind of come and go, other than than a certain few that are like elite. So yeah, I give it a B plus as well.
Yeah. And by the way, excuse my coughing a little bit. I've been having a little bit of a cough lately, but I'll try to hold it in. All right, let's get into schedule predictions now. I'm gonna share the screen really quick, and then we can get right into it. All right, here we are. 17 games this year compared to the usual 16. Week 1, we are at the New Orleans Saints. And that's going to be, I mean, again, we're assuming this is with Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback. If Jordan Love's the quarterback, it changes things a lot, as anyone would, guess. But I'm assuming it's going to be Rodgers because right now Rodgers is on the team, and I'm assuming that's how it's going to be. Week 1 at New Orleans, they now have Jameis Winston as their quarterback because Drew Brees retired, and I'm putting this as a win. I know the Saints do still have like that offensive firepower. With Michael Thomas, with Alvin Kamara, etc. But I think the defense still has a lot to be desired there. We should be able to put up points on them, and I don't trust Jameis Winston to beat us. So I'm giving us a win there.
Yeah, I also have a win. And especially the first week, I think I could see the Saints kind of figuring it out maybe midway through the year, something like that. Like you said, they still got weapons. Defense was kind of up and down for them. I think it got better to the end of the year, but it'll be a weird transition seeing no Drew Brees for him. So hopefully that's a good start to the year on the road.
And then we have the Detroit Lions, a home Monday Night Football game. So a little bit of a long week there, and it's the Lions, and they now have Jared Goff as their quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the Lions, like, they always like can give you a scare. They'll always kind of play us a little bit tougher, but I do trust us to win this game, especially at home. I don't see us having many problems with them, so I'm going to move us to 2-0 here. Are you two?
Yes, another team with a new quarterback, new head coach. Should be an easy first home game.
And again, that like any team with a terrible defense, I can't trust them to like beat us, because our offense is usually going to prevail again, especially if we have Rodgers.
Right.
As I take a sip of water here, but yeah. Next up, week 3. This is like our first kind of, I mean, the Saints are a test, but the first true test, I think, is this third game against the Niners. I'll let you. What do you think on this one? I'll let you go first.
I've got to win because they had a lot of injuries last year. I know, but they're just weird. I'm not sold on them just yet. Obviously, they took us down the year before in the NFC Championship by a lot. But you know, I think they're going to be one of those NFC teams that could make or break the playoff picture, in my opinion.
Yeah, and absolutely. Like, last year isn't really indicative of how good they are because, as you said, the injuries. The year before, they were a Super Bowl team, and that defense still is very, very good.
Yeah.
They now have Trey Lance, and I don't know how the whole quarterback situation is going to work out, but
yeah,
I don't know. The offense still isn't like great to me, and I don't know. I'll give us a win here. I think it's going to be really tough because again, that's a really good defense you have to go up against, good pass rush, but I trust that our O-line can hold up and we'll be able to put up enough points to win that game against their offense. So I'll give us the win. So we both have them starting the year 3-0.
Yeah.
And then the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that has a lot of like offensive talent. You know, they have Deontay Johnson, Juju Smith-Schuster. They now have Najee Harris. Big Ben is back.
Claypool.
The defense is really good too. I am going to actually give us a loss here. Like, this is kind of a surprising one, especially being at home. But I feel like it's just going to be one of those, like, we always have like one home game that we just kind of struggle in a little bit. Maybe it's against a better defense, which, again, the Steelers have one of the better defenses in the NFL. So one of those games where the offense struggles a little bit, they kind of have that offensive team to be able to put the pressure on us and make us score on, you know, most of our possessions. And if we can't do that, I'll give us the loss here to move us to 3-1.
Mm-hmm. I also have the loss here. Kind of similar reasons. Like you said, it's at home. I would not be surprised if we come out, look really good, take them down, have that early season kind of marquee win. But, we saw the Steelers start really strong last year. Mike Tomlin, really good head coach. So that'll be a fun game.
And I don't even really like the Steelers that much. Like, I don't like Big Ben, and I don't know, just overall, like, I don't love the Steelers. I just do think this is a game that can. I try to predict like a weird game here and there that just maybe they'll just struggle on that day. It's a decent team and a team that has a good defense that can kind of match up with them. So that's just one of those games to me. We now move on to week 5 and all this stuff. I mean, it's so far away. Like I said, this is way. I mean, the title of this podcast is way too early. Packers schedule prediction. Like, you can't really. It's much easier to do this, and we'll revisit this and probably do another version of our schedule prediction closer to the actual season starting in August or whatever. Right now, it's very tough to say, but these are just initial thoughts based on what we see right now. Next up, we have the Bengals, the road game, and Joe Burrow should be back by now, and then you got Joe Mixon. They now have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Like, that's a loaded offense. They have kind of revamped their O-line a little bit to at least make it decent, improve it a lot from where it was last year because it was terrible last year. Still not great, but it's definitely not bad anymore. The defense, again, has a lot to be desired, as some of these other teams where they have some offensive talent, but they just defensively, I don't think they can hold us to any type of reasonable like score that they can beat out. So I'm gonna give us the win here just because, and I like the Bengals too. Like going forward, especially they have a lot of young talent, but I'm gonna give us the win here just because the defense isn't very good.
Yeah, I have us to win too. And yeah, as you said, their defense was really bad last year. If they could step up, even be mediocre, Bengals could maybe be a surprising team to kind of evolve early. I guess I would say that's surprising. Burrow's second year had his first year cut short. So yeah.
All right, at the Bears, week 6. They now have Justin Fields, but it looks like Andy Dalton's going to start the year as the quarterback. And then I don't know how long it's going to take Justin Fields to actually like become the starter, but I have to assume at some point he will. How are you feeling about this game? I'll let you go first.
I'm feeling pretty good. I give us a win. On the road is why I say pretty good. If it was at home, I'd feel really good. I just want to put this out there. I'm not sold on Justin Fields, so
I do like Justin Fields. Like before the draft, he was my I think QB3 in the class, like my third favorite quarterback. The thing I just hate is Bears fans automatically just think like, oh, we're like they get so confident without having proven anything. And it's like, okay, like you can be excited and like hopeful, but I don't want to like I see Bears fans, oh, we're gonna win the division. And I'm like, you haven't proven anything. Like Justin Fields has proven as much as Jordan Love has. Like we have no idea how good these guys are. And like I said, if Jordan Love is starting for the Packers, I really think that makes them more equal to the Bears than, if Rodgers is starting for the Packers, I really think they're a whole like tier or two above the Bears. Like they're on another level if we have Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
If Jordan Love is starting, then them with Fields, us with Love, decent supporting cast both ways. Like then it's more even to me because they just have quarterbacks that you don't really know how good they are. And so like that's again, I'm just like it's like us with Love being like, oh, Love's gonna be great. It's the same as you guys saying Fields is gonna be amazing because you just don't know. Like you have no idea how good that guy's gonna be. And with their track record, like I wouldn't be getting too cocky. But I am gonna actually have us losing this game. I hate doing it because I would hate to lose to the Bears. But at Chicago, we got a decent defense. I think they could give us some trouble. I don't. It's no. You know what? I'm changing it. I'm not having us lose to the Bears. I'm not doing it. We're winning 5-1. I was gonna say like, 'cause I can't trust either of those quarterbacks to beat us. I just can't. Andy Dalton, no, and Justin Fields is gonna be playing in one of his first few games if he is playing by this time, and I just don't trust it. So I'm not letting that happen. Week 7, so we both have us 5-1 going into week 7 against the Washington football team at home, and I'm gonna give us the win here. I don't think this should be too much trouble. I mean, again, a decent defense for the Washington football team. They have Antonio Gibson at running back. They have a decent young team, but nobody that's really gonna threaten us. What'd you say?
Chase Young obviously looked good last year leading their defense, but yeah, they're I have us with a win as well. If we're on the road, I'd probably have this as a loss, just because, like you said, I think it's one of those games where it just could be a tough match, a tough defense, But these 2 games at Chicago and then Washington kind of start a tough little 6-week I guess 6-week span, I should say, of games.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, if it was on the road, it would definitely be more of like a test, another game that defense could give you fits, and then if their offense is able to just put up enough points, they can make that game super close. At home, though, I just trust us more. All right, week 8 at Arizona. That's a Thursday night game, so a short week there. Who do you have in that one?
At Arizona, I got us losing. Like you said, short week, Thursday night. Another, halfway into the season for Arizona after a pretty solid season last year. So yeah.
Yeah, and they obviously have Kyler. He's just a fantastic running quarterback. Someone that could really give us troubles. DeAndre Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
Their running back now is like James Conner, and their defense is decent. It's nothing like it used to be, but it's serviceable. It's a decent defense. I'm also going to give us a loss here. I don't want to be too exactly the same as you, but I do think that the Cardinals will beat us in this game because again, the offensive firepower and combined with a defense that is good enough to give us some trouble on a short week on the road. It'll be tough. It'll be tough. I wouldn't be shocked at all. I mean, we can beat anyone with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. I wouldn't be shocked at all if we won, but I'll give us a loss here. And then at the Chiefs, the game everyone's kind of waiting for. Hopefully Rodgers is on our team. Hopefully they're both healthy. Rodgers versus Mahomes. Who are you having that?
I've got the Chiefs taking it. Yeah, very tough matchup, obviously. And then obviously you got a little more time since it's a Thursday night game, but coming off another, probably a tough road game at Arizona. So I got us losing.
I'm gonna have us winning this. Like you said, it's a longer week, gives us a little more time to prepare. And the Chiefs, I just think this would be it's gonna be a great back and forth game. And I just think whoever kind of has the ball last will prevail. And so I'm just going to guess Rodgers kind of outduels Mahomes in just a classic, very, very, very good football game. So this one's tough to predict because it's just two fantastic teams. And I'm just going to give us the win here because if we lose to the I think we lose one of these two week 8 or 9. Like if we beat the Cardinals, I think we could lose to the Chiefs. If we lose to the Cardinals, I think we beat the Chiefs. I think I don't see us losing both. I think we'll win one, lose one. So I'm going to have us winning the second game where we have a longer week to prepare. Next up, we have the Seattle Seahawks, Week 10. So I have a 7-2 right now. You have a 6-3.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle at home. Russell Wilson. This will be right about the time where he starts to kind of collapse, as he always does. He'll start the year out as an MVP candidate, leading MVP candidate through 5 or 6 weeks, and he always just kind of falls down to earth as the season goes along. But that defense was really bad last year. And the O-line was really bad. Not much help around him in general. I'm going to have us winning this. I have a hard time ever having us lose to the Seahawks because I hate the Seahawks. And I just don't think they're that good. The receivers are good. DK, Tyler Lockett. They just drafted Dwayne Eskridge or something, I think. But, I'm going to have us beating the Seahawks.
I also have the Seahawks. So we have really nice at-home win. How do you feel about the DK Metcalf versus Scary Terry debate?
DK Metcalf versus who?
Terry, how do you say his last name?
McLaurin?
McLaurin out in Washington.
Oh, DK Metcalf's better.
I've heard a lot of debates, people saying they think Terry's better than DK. I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't agree with that. I like Terry McLaurin a lot. I never mentioned him, but on Washington, I like it. We're gonna, we face them week 7, and I love Terry McLaurin, but DK is just, especially not only fantasy wise, I think of it in my mind, I always go to fantasy of a dynasty league, who would I rather have, but also just in general, it's just so much harder to handle a guy like DK, just how big he is and just how much of a threat he is. It's just, to me, DK is just kind of on a tier above.
I agree.
All right, we move to week 11 at Minnesota. Divisional games are always tough. Who do you have in this?
Yeah, I have us losing this one. Obviously, I have us losing the 2 away games in a row, but kind of like you said, I wouldn't be very surprised if if we split those 2. And so I think especially if we go 1-1 there, lose this one, divisional opponent on the road.
Yeah, I always want to have us losing to. Excuse me. I always want to have us losing to one divisional opponent. And I was gonna, like I said, I was gonna have it be the Bears, but then I was like, I don't trust either of those quarterbacks to beat us. And I do think I'll give it to the Vikings. They always just kind of they're another team. Playoffs pretty tough. They have a decent defense. Dalvin Cook is able to usually run all over us, so that's just another type of matchup I don't really like. So I'll have us losing this on the road to drop us to 8-3 through 11 weeks in my record prediction. Just that one, I don't want to have us losing to a lot of divisional teams, and that's just I want to have us losing to one. It's hard for me to always see us going, whatever it is, 6-0 in the division. So I'll have us losing that one to Minnesota. So I have us 8-3. You have us 7-4, and now week 12 against the Rams, who have Matt Stafford now in that trade with the Lions.
Yes.
And Cam Akers at running back. They have a good defense. They have Robert Woods. They have Cooper Kupp. So they're a very talented team, a very good team. That's at home. I think this will be a super close game. Oof, this one I want to have us winning it, but again, I don't know. I'm gonna have us winning a super close game. It just seems like Matt Stafford, he knows he's played in Lambeau. It's not like Goff where you're like, oh, Goff's not gonna come in Lambeau and win.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Stafford, I want to have us losing, but I'm gonna have us just because we're at home, edging it out over the Rams. What do you think? I'm not confident in this though.
Yeah. I also have us winning, but you bring up a very good point. With Stafford kind of being familiar with Lambeau, at this point you're getting towards the end of the year, so Stafford's comfortable with the offense. They're probably gelling. Obviously, they got a really strong defense led by Aaron Donald. They got Jalen Ramsey. A little overrated as we saw. Adams exposed him, but they still got him at corner. So yeah, this will be a really fun game at home. I think we have tickets to this one actually with the
Really?
package, so might have to hit you up if we got some tickets to this one because this could be fun.
Yeah, that'll be a fantastic game, and I mean, like you said, this is a tough stretch. You've got starting with kind of after the Bengals game, the Bears are kind of tough. The football team is pretty tough. Cardinals, Chiefs, Seahawks, Vikings, right? Like that's a tough stretch in the middle of the season there. I'm still not confident. I might change that one as we, if we do a later schedule prediction, but for right now, I'll have it at a win.
Mm-hmm.
And then week 13 bye, so kind of a later bye, but not bad considering, again, there's the added extra week. So I think it's fine to have that week 13 bye. And we move to week 14 against the Bears. This is a Sunday night game, extra time to prepare. I'm giving us a win here because, again, I don't trust that any of those quarterbacks can beat us. So I'm giving us the win, especially at Lambeau. The Bears, we sweep them again because the Bears still suck.
Yeah, I got us beating them as well, especially at home. And I kind of like the placement of the bye week just because you just got through, the tough part of the schedule, as we said. Have a bye week, end with these 4 games, and then get ready for what I'd assume be your playoff run. So
yeah, for sure. And yeah, so the Bears we sweep, the Vikings we split, and then we have one so far. Right? We have us winning against the Lions. Or do we have both? Where's the other Lions game is down here? Okay, so yeah, so we have so far in the division, one against the Lions, one against the Vikings, and then we have sweeping the Bears. And now we move on to the Ravens, week 15 at Baltimore. I'll let you go first on this one.
It's just another tough one. However, another team I'm not sold on, Baltimore Ravens. I have us going in there and getting a win against Baltimore. I think we stop Lamar, at least limit him, and Rodgers throws for 300 yards. Very early prediction for yards, but
I do not. I don't like this game. I'm having us losing it. I can't trust our defense against Lamar, and because the running quarterback thing just scares me. Kyler, Lamar, like I can't trust it. And sorry, I'm just looking up at the earlier schedule because I'm looking at the quarterbacks we have to face. Like weeks, I was just noticing weeks 1 through like 7. There's only really one good quarterback at to face, which he might not even be playing, which is Joe Burrow. I mean, you got the Saints, which is Jameis Winston. You got the Lions, which is Jared Goff. Niners, which is either Jimmy G or whoever, Trey Lance. The Steelers, Big Ben, who I don't like that much. Then Burrow, then whoever's starting for the Bears, and then whoever's starting for the football team. And there's just and then you get to the good quarterbacks. And so I was like, our defense is probably going to look really good the first 7 weeks of the season. And then we'll kind of have a reality check these next, the rest of the year where we're like, okay, this defense might not actually be that good. The Ravens, I think, are a team that will give us another reality check later in the year of like, ooh, is this defense good enough to win a Super Bowl? And yeah, I just don't trust it against Lamar. I'm just still scarred from Kaepernick, honestly. So giving us the L, and then so we both have us 10-4 after 15 weeks against Cleveland, who Cleveland's good, dude. Like, I mean, they're like a legit good team now. And okay, I'll let you go first in this one again. What do you think of this game?
Yeah.
Week 16 at home.
I have us losing this home game because we have the extra home game, like you said. I think it's against KC. Yeah, Cleveland's tough. We've seen them almost score at will in certain games. Just their offense gets really hot. Mixture of that and like playing a bad defense. Like when Pittsburgh would just coughing the ball up, but then Cleveland would score against them. So I have us losing that game to Mayfield.
I mean, Baker's like, he gets super hot sometimes. He'll go on these stretches, not only stretches of games, but just stretches in a game where he goes absolutely berserk. And, again, they have a lot of talent on that team. The running game is really good. I do kind of want to pick a loss here because the Browns are very good. But late in the year at Lambeau, I'm going to trust us to get the win here as we kind of get into, playoff form and start to move towards the playoffs. I'm giving us the win here.
Two really good running backs.
What'd you say?
Two really good running backs.
Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt is a fantastic duo. And I mean, we have a good duo too. Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, very good. But yeah, I mean, the Browns are they're very legit. They're going to be a good team, and this will be a good win for us to get. This won't be an easy win by any means, but I do trust us in Lambeau late. It's hard for me to bet against the Packers. Lambeau games in December, but let's move on. Week 17, Sunday night against the Vikings at home. I also have this as a win again at home. If we lose, I have us losing to the Vikings week 11, and you do too. So I have us getting our revenge here and moving now to 12-4, heading into the final week because we end up splitting with the Vikings.
I have us winning this game as well. I would have to house on it after what Adam Thielen was saying about Lambeau.
Yes, that's right. They're going to have this one circled for sure.
Yes, to say the least.
Yeah, and that was so dumb. I'm like, I don't know how that was even like a burn or anything. Like, he literally just said, "Oh, they have bleacher seats," and it's boring. And I'm like, well, I don't care what you think of our stadium. Your stadium literally collapsed. So, I don't know. That whole thing was just so stupid. I went on Twitter. I was like, why is this actually a thing?
Yeah.
But, all right. Final week of the year. So I have us 12-4 right now. You have us 11-5 at Detroit. Again, at Detroit always seems to be kind of a tough game, and I am going to have us winning this game final week of the year to move us to 13-4 as our final record. So we sweep the Lions, split against the Vikings, sweep the Bears, and I'm happy with that. I mean, 13-4 seems like I want to have us 12-5. 13-4 seems like one game too good to me. I want to change one of these, but I'm not sure which one. But give me your Lions pick.
Yeah, I have beating the Lions, moving to 12-5 as you had talked about. And the thing is, it's like you kind of want a certain record. It's also tough to pick. Like, we might have a loss here to the Steelers. We go out and beat them and beat the Cardinals, but then we lose to Seattle and lose to the Rams or something. Like, that's the hard part, is picking where they, what teams they lose to.
This guy's making fun of me I said the Cowboys would. I had them originally going to the Super Bowl last year, which sounds stupid in hindsight, and it was stupid. And I changed my pick before the season started. I said, no, never mind. Mike McCarthy's not winning a Super Bowl, and I had them losing first or second round of the playoffs. But 11-5 with now that Dak Prescott got hurt all year, so I don't want to hear. Yeah. I don't want to hear about how that was a bad pick, because if Dak Prescott's there all year, they probably wouldn't have gone 11-5. But they're a loaded offense and a pretty good team. So without the injuries, I think they're a fine football team, and I think they're solid. But
can we get the guy out of the chat mods? Is there a mod in here? Can we get this guy?
All right. So final record predictions. I have us 13-4. As I said, I want to have us 12-5, but I don't know what game to change. and you do have us 12-5. For the most part, our schedule we have pretty much the same. I mean, a few differences for sure, but
3
loss
weeks.
against the Steelers, loss against the Cardinals, loss against at Minnesota. But yeah, we both had us starting 6-2, and then after that it changes up a little bit. But overall, I mean, with Aaron Rodgers, like, this is going to be a contender. It's going to be the same type of team we've seen the last 2 years of, hopefully more like the team last year than the one 2 years ago in terms of the offense. I hope the offenses should look completely fine.
Mm-hmm.
But they should be winning 11, 12, 13 games, somewhere in that range, even 14 potentially. Just an elite team. Like, with Aaron Rodgers, any team is going to be elite. And let's just pray that Aaron Rodgers is our quarterback in week 1. No offense to Jordan Love, but I don't want to leave it. I don't want Aaron Rodgers to leave me. I don't. I don't know. I know you don't care as much as me, but I can't. I just can't. My life will not be the same if Aaron Rodgers is not my quarterback.
I do and I don't. I think I feel spoiled for having Rodgers. But if he's going to continue to be like this, then I want to see a new young guy in there. But hey, I will not be upset at all if we have Rodgers, and I hope we have Rodgers. But I'm glad we have Love in case something happens.
Pay the man. Give him his extension. Commit to him. Trade Jordan Love. That's where I'm at.
All I'll say is Tom Brady has taken pay cuts to get more.
That's true. Again, like, that's a thing you can look at and say that's how Rodgers could be. Like, but he also has a right to be paid like the best QB in football because he plays like the best QB in football.
And at the very least, an extension, like you said. Yeah.
So that does it for this episode. Thank you guys for listening, tuning in. This will be up on YouTube, on Spotify. Thanks everyone for listening. Go Pack Go. We're going to have next week an NBA awards show. We're going to give away our picks for the awards: MVP, Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, all that. And in that same episode, we're going to do NBA playoff predictions, because by then we'll have the NBA playoff bracket and everything figured out. So got all the play-in stuff, all these stuff. I mean, NBA playoffs are my second favorite time of the year besides March Madness. So I'm hyped for some playoff basketball, and let's hope the Bucks can do some damage in the playoffs. But yeah, we'll have that for you guys next week. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you then.